What's good? It's a boy dude reviews, and today we're going to be reviewing a series of unfortunate events, the Netflix TV series, not the movies, not the books, just a TV show. And it's an American black comedy drama web series from Netflix developed by Mark Hudis and Barry Sonnenfeld, based on Lemony Snicket's children's novel of the same name. It stars Neil Patrick Harris, Patrick Warrington, Malina Wisherman, Louis Hines K. Todd Freeman, and Pelsey Smith, with Lucy Punch, Avi Lake, and Dylan Kingwell joining the cast in the second season. As with the book series, Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events follows the misadventures of three Baudelaire children, Violet, Klaus, and Sunny, following the deaths of their parents in the destruction of their home. While the children are shuffled between various foster homes, they are pursued by Count Olaf, who desires to gain control of the vast Baudelaire inheritance before the children come of age. Along the way, the Baudelaires discover their parents' connections to an elusive and exclusive secret society. Now, before I talk about my thoughts and opinions of the show, let me tell you something. I read the books before these during last summer, and I thought they were okay. I mean, it's not a series I want to reread, but I thought it was pretty interesting. The first two books were pretty amazing. Like, the first book was kind of dark, to be honest with you. Like, I knew it was going to be a sad book series, but it's pretty sad, and it's pretty. I feel bad for like the Baudelaire orphans, but the whole world with it, like they kind of like all the adults in this world just seem to like not really care or just not take the Baudelaire children seriously. And the thing I quite liked was just how adults like the kids were in the books. Like, they're the ones who you really root for and the ones you feel most sorry for. Like, they were the only ones. It was like they were stuck in this strange fantasy world where everything just didn't make sense. Like in Alice in Wonderland, where she's like the only one who makes sense and everything else just doesn't make sense. This is how I felt with the Baudelaire children, how they were like the Alice, and like all the adults were like all the weird creatures and characters in the Alice Wonderworld land place. And I quite like that, I quite like that. But after a while, and I would say after the fourth book, it got tiring and old fast. Like, I kind of got bored of like the predictable, like they go to a new orphan, they go to a new foster parent person, a new guardian, Count Olaf chases them, he's in disguise. The first two times it was quite entertaining and funny, I have to admit, but after a while I got kind of sick of it, to be honest with you. And it isn't until about book 6 where it does change pace and direction, and it did get interesting. Particularly the ninth book. I think the ninth book is my favorite in the series. The ninth and the one set in the school are my favorite ones in the books, and I quite enjoyed it in some ways. I mean, it's not really a book series I'd reread again, but it was fun, I suppose. And then I watched the movie, and oh my gosh, that movie was just... what the heck was all that about? Oh my gosh. I should definitely review that film. Yeah, Jim Carrey did do a good Count Olaf, but everyone else... the actors did a good job, but the tone and the script was awful. They cut so much out of the books, it was just unfair. You see, the main problem with the movie was that it's a movie, it's only 2 hours long, and the series of Unfortunate Events is a running book series, and it would work better as a TV show. So when I saw that Netflix was making a TV version of it, I actually got excited, and I watched it, and I will give it one. I will go on with the positives. It does adapt the books well. Like, all the events that happen in the books, even the very mundane moments of the books, Netflix adapts it. And what they do smartly, which actually really shocked me, was that each book would be split into 2 episodes, and those episodes would go on for like 50 minutes. Like, they'd be like over 50 minutes long, and golly, I was like really surprised as to how... I thought each episode was going to be each book, but no, the episode split into 2, and I thought, oh my gosh. And how they adapt it, like taking the writing out, it's a literal direct adaptation, and they really did keep it faithful, I suppose. I have to admit, I do like K. Todd Freeman as Mr. Poe. He's very different to how I imagined him. Obviously, he's black, but I do prefer him as Mr. Poe than Wormtail's version in the movie one. Yeah, I really do like that. I have to admit, Percy Smith as Little Sonny Baudelaire is amazing. She's this, I mean, for a baby, she does one of the funniest facial expressions ever, like any child. She's definitely a great child actress, and really did really well. And even like Louis Hines and as Klaus and Marlene Westerman as Vi, they did a decent job, I suppose. Like it wasn't too bad, I have to admit. It was fine. It was really fine. But Patrick Warren Burton as Lemony Snicket was the one that really surprised me because when I first watched like the first season, I didn't really like him. I didn't like how they adapted Lemony Snicket because in the books he's very mysterious. We don't know what he looks like. Even in the movie, they kind of keep his identity a secret. But in the show, we literally see him and he just kind of walks on the screen and he's like narrating the whole thing. And I didn't like that at first. I thought it was tacky. But then as the series progressed and the episodes went on, I got used to it and I thought he was a decent addition. Like he was definitely one of the better parts of the series as a whole, to be honest with you. I also quite like some of Count Olaf's like circus troupe, particularly the hook-handed man, the twins, and the person with no identity. The actors who played them were amazing, and I'm gonna give them credit as well. I thought they were really, really funny, to be honest with you. Like, man, they were very, very entertaining. Um, and that's it. The problem with this series is that it's too goofy. Now, I know the books were funny and goofy because it had a lot of funny and goofy moments, but it felt, at least it kind of felt more grounded in reality at times. It did feel more real and it did feel dark. There was some dark stuff that happened, like some dude's foot gets amputated. Freaking, like, these kids are like suffering and Klaus gets hit. It's like, what the heck? In the books, it's in my head, I kind of imagine it to be darker, but the way they adapt it in the TV show, the execution, is done in a very cartoony, goofy way. It kind of reminds me at times of Spy Kids, where some of the violent scenes are just kind of, these throwaway punchline, gaggy stuff, and I wasn't really that into it, to be honest with you. And yeah, it's really, really, really not great. The problem is that when they're adapting, they're literally directing it into a TV series. It's literally page for page, and because it's split into two episodes, it can kind of drag on. And it's because it's not just that, but the problem is that they add filler that never existed in the books. There's this whole little arc involving this man and woman. I don't know who they are. It's the woman from the Marvel movies. Kobe Smulders, I think her name is. I'm not too sure if it's her or someone else, but like it's this whole like side quest with, I think it's Cat Snicket. Yeah, it might be Kit Snicket, and it's literally her doing, trying to find out where the Baudelaires are. And honestly, all those like side fillers are just not necessary, to be honest with you, because in the books we don't see any of that, and adapted on the screen, it's too goofy for me, to be honest with you. Also, yeah, I have to admit, but Neil Patrick Harris's Count Olaf was not that great, to be honest with you. Jim Carrey is tall and he does a really decent performance as Count Olaf, but Neil Patrick Harris is not that tall, and he just doesn't seem evil enough. He just seems like a menace, to be honest with you. I was never scared. The Count Olaf in the books, I just saw him as an evil, evil man. Evil. Evil dude. But this Neil Patrick Harris, he's just this kind of like guy who likes to sing and dance. He's very camp. He's a very camp Count Olaf, this guy, and that's a problem. That's a real problem, to be honest with you. The way the directing happened and the way it was directed just didn't look good, and even like the visual backgrounds, like some of like the landscapes and like the shots, like basically the actual like the production design looked really cheap, like they were on a sound stage just filming it, and that bothered me so much, particularly the third book episode where they're with their aunt Josephine, I think it is, and they're trying to rescue her on the lake, and it's like they're on a stage and there's like green screen. Even the boat looks like it's green screen. They're just sitting on the floor and they're just covered in green screen paper. It's so tacky, and that bothered me throughout watching this series. The only, like I would say this, the only episode that felt very much like the book was definitely the one where they were in the school. I'm not too sure which episode that was called. It was in the second season. It was the Austria Academy. That was the only episode I actually liked because all the characters, all the teachers were how I kind of imagined them, and even the setting looked really good as well. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Harry Potter at times, to be honest with you. It had that feel and tone, and I suppose that's why I quite liked it as well, you know. But every other episode was just so tacky, and or even the acting wasn't that great as well. It was like I felt bad for these actors having to act to this like really crappy script, you know. But it is what it is, to be honest with you. I'm happy that they did adapt it, you know. I mean, maybe if I would give this show another rewatch, I'd probably enjoy it, but it's a no for me, and I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a C. Go check it out. It's on Netflix, but I'm not gonna check it out again. Thanks for watching. As always, Aborted Reviews signing out.